The critical points about it was neither discussed with Ukraine nor Russia. And although it's commonly presented, and for good reason, as pro-Russian, it gives Russia quite a bit of what it wants, it doesn't quite do so in the way that Russia would like. And that, I think, is one reason why the whole thing may fail. Now, overnight, we had the actual details of the plan released. So my view yesterday was this wasn't going to go anywhere because nobody apart from Dmitriev and Witkov seemed to be aware of it, and status was uncertain. So now it has slightly more status, I think, because of the way the leak succeeded. People now have something that they have to address, and they feel they should take it seriously. And there are reports that Trump sort of wishes Zelensky to pick it up.
Mm.
The problem is it's incredibly amateurish. I mean, it's not drafted by anybody who really knows international relations. It's got all sorts of funny wording, promised to just do things that don't need doing. It's clearly not had any lawyers, international lawyers involved. It's a mess. It's described as a dog's breakfast. So the problem with it is because it comes from Trump, he now seems to be encouraging it to be taken seriously. You can't just dismiss it. So Zelensky has says, "Oh, we'll take this terribly seriously," which is what he always says. And the Russians seem a bit nonplussed. I mean, they're not quite sure what to make of this. So I think the next few days will be interesting. The Ukrainians have got to push back on quite a bit of this because, I mean, Zelensky was in political trouble anyway. It would be even more political trouble if he accepted that as part of the sort of mythology of the sort of the Witkov camp, that because Zelensky has been weakened by all the corruption allegations, which are very serious and are doing him harm, he would be strengthened by accepting a pro-Russian peace plan. In fact, the opposite is the case. So, I mean, Zelensky has to take it seriously, but he can't accept it. If the Russians had any sense, they'd say, yes, it's wonderful, but then zoom in on particular details, because some of it won't suit them at all. And a lot of it is just very unclear how it would work in practice, because it has, it's 28 headlines. But this isn't, I mean, even with Gaza, which is sort of model, even with Gaza, that there was you had all the regional countries behind it, and Hamas in a very weakened position, and Israel utterly dependent upon the US at this point. And even then, we've had troubles with how it's been interpreted and implemented. It's not that far down. We've only just got a Security Council resolution on Gaza.
If I can just interject there, though, Lawrence, because, okay, so I agree with you. I obviously have my slight energized, excited initial outreach because it's to sort of, because it is the fourth or fifth time that we've seen something of this style. But if you look at the details, yes, you're right. What stood out to me, just as a couple of arbitrary examples, is one, that Ukraine is allowed to have, is it in the range of 500,000 to 600,000 troops instead of 80,000, but also that the Russians accept that they do join the EU eventually, not NATO, but the EU, which would still be it's more comprehensive, it's economic bloc instead of military alliance. So is it those sorts of details that maybe give this one a little bit more significance or something in your mind?